Okay, so let's say you have three objects here. The thing that I want to show you in detail is more or less that there are three different types of objects that you can have within Fusion that a lot of you guys are not understanding. So the first one that I want to show you is basically just a normal extrusion. You have a sketch, you guys draw from that the extrusion from that sketch, and you have a solid piece, right? The other one you have is in form, where you guys create these objects here. They create a box, and then from there you guys can modify those, go back into form, and they're solid pieces too. The last piece that a lot of you guys are kind of having trouble with or understanding is that you can go into form, you can create a sketch, and you can extrude from that sketch as well. So if I go into form, a lot of you guys are using extrude here. The problem with that is it creates a couple different issues. The first issue that I want you guys to kind of see, and I'll undo all this that I just did. Undo one more time. Keep going. There we go. That you guys don't seem to understand is that when I throw like a section analysis on here, right? I got three different bodies. Let's say I want to see what's inside these. And when you 3D print, think of 3D printing as it has to have guts. If you don't have guts, then nothing inside will be printed, and it won't be identified as for the 3D printer. So what we have to do to make sure it has guts is basically go to Inspect, which is up here. You go to Section Analysis, and then you pick any one of those faces that you want. If it has guts, it'll show up as pink. Okay? If it doesn't have guts, it won't show up anything. It has to have pink guts. Has to. Okay? If it doesn't have pink guts, then it will not 3D print anything. So there's a couple ways we can do this, okay? So right now the first thing I want to show you is, let's say a lot of you guys are extruding these and you have these like open areas that you want to close off. I'm going to go back into form. I'm going to show you guys how to do that real quick because none of the activity showed you how to do that. So I'm going to go to Modify, and I'm going to go to what's called Bridging. You can then select the edges, in this case, here, here, and here, and then it says to select the other side. Think of this as mirroring across an object. And you create exactly the same amount of sides on both side 1 and 2. And then you check this little box that says maintain crease edges. What that does is it makes it just go straight across instead of like filleting automatically. When I press OK, it basically fills that gap in, and now I have it looks like a solid piece. Again, if I finish form, inspect, and see section analysis though, I do not still have, oh in this case I do, look at that, I got lucky. Sometimes it still won't be a solid piece, okay? If both of those are solid, like you said, I just took the other piece away, and I got one side that is, you can see it's still hollow. You can either close off both ends and it'll make it solid, or you can go back into that form, and you can go to Modify and Thicken, and I showed you this a couple times, and go negatively inside, press OK. Now you can see I have a wall here. When I finish form, inspect, section analysis, I'll go to a surface. You can see now that it has some kind of guts inside of it. It'll support that. Okay? So you got to have some kind of wall, or you got to have it filled in fully. Everybody good on that? Any questions? Okay. The other thing I never taught you, we have to create bodies. We have to create components from those bodies, I should say. And then when you guys put these together, let's say I want to put these, I'll take that analysis out. Let's say I have these pieces and they all look like they're one solid piece, and I'm ready to 3D print, and I want all these pieces to be inside and touching and together, right? But I didn't build them that way. I built them as separate pieces. There's a way around that to make them all one piece. If I go through Tools and I go to 3D print, and then I basically, again, I never showed you any of this. Tools is up here. 3D printer is right there. You press that, it'll bring open this prompt box. You basically then select the objects. Well, if I hold Shift and try and select multiple objects, it don't do it. It ain't working. So we gotta cancel that, and we gotta create what's called a selection set. I've never taught you this either. So a selection set forces components to combine into one giant piece. And all you gotta do is hold Shift and select all the components you want to be together. Right click and say Create Selection Set. That creates one big piece of one thing. So then I go back again to Tools, 3D Printer, and now when I select the selection set, it'll select all three pieces. Okay? Make sure you uncheck Send to 3D Print Utility. Press OK. It'll come up as an STL file, which is what you want. Save it as your name, and then that's what that's the file type. Save it wherever you want. Downloads, desktop, wherever you want, and submit that STL file to Google Classroom. That's what you're submitting into as an assignment. That's your 3D printed part. Okay? What questions do we have? Anything? We're good? Okay. So that's what you're doing